The role of a prophet is as a spiritual guide, a kind of messenger from God, to tell people where they're going wrong and show them a better way to live. That can be whether they be a servant or right the way up to being a king. Sometimes, though, prophets also get visions from God, and some of those visions can be pretty strange at times.
It's not the job of a prophet to predict the future, but sometimes God shows us what He's planning to do.
I was a prophet at a time of great national crisis. Our nation was under threat from no fewer than 2 of its neighbours. The king himself stood there trembling like a tree in a great wind. But God sent me to him with a great message of reassurance and hope. The land would not suffer an invasion. It would remain secure. And one day, there'd be a king who'd come and set up a new type of kingdom. It'd be amazing. A kingdom where there'd be justice and righteousness and peace. But here's where the strange part comes in. This king was going to come down from the north. He'd come from a place called Galilee. Can't believe it. I've never heard of anything good coming out of Galilee. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them a light has shone. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. His name will be Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will accomplish it. I didn't really know what to make of it.
Nations, you see, go from one crisis to another, but probably the most challenging time that I can remember is when Assyria, the superpower of our age, were threatening to invade us, and we were mustering our armies, and I was trying to reassure all these frightened soldiers and scared mothers with their children that God would look after them. And I saw a vision, and it was a vision of a child that would be born, who would be king and rule over them and take care of them and give them peace. But the strange thing was that that king was going to be born in a small town called Bethlehem.
But you, O Bethlehem Ephratah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days. And he shall stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord is God. And they shall dwell secure, for now he shall be great to the ends of the earth, and he shall be their peace.
Wow. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm a carpenter by trade, and my family is originally from down south, from a little place called Bethlehem. But then we moved up here. We moved north, and got a lot of stick for that. And a lot of the lads were saying, "Oh, northern girls, they're not up to much." And then I found a girl who just blew me away. I mean, she was amazing. And then it turned out that she was from down south as well, actually. But she was just, I couldn't stop thinking about her. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I thought that she'd be the one. So I asked her, and she said yes, and made me the happiest carpenter in the world.
We were living in Galilee, Nazareth at the time. It was when I was engaged to be married to Joseph. And it was just a normal day, and this man just appeared out of nowhere, just out of thin air, which was very strange to start off with. And he said, "Greetings, O favoured one, the Lord is with you," which is a bit of a strange beginning. And then he said, "Don't be afraid," which just made me even more scared. And he said, "You're going to have a baby, and it's going to be the king of all the world, and he's going to have a kingdom that's going to last forever." And then he vanished. And, I mean, what do you do then? All I knew was that Joseph was going to be furious.
No, I'd say I'm quite a religious man. You know, I say my prayers, I go to the synagogue each week. And I thought that Mary was pretty religious too. I mean, so as a result of that, we hadn't, you know, we just hadn't, you know, I'm saving myself for marriage. It's really how I think of it as. But then she said she was pregnant, and I just thought, well, she said that she loved me, and it was. I'm sorry. Can we just skip this?
Well, he was fine about it. He could have been awful. He could have told the authorities, and I could have been stoned. He could have just, you know, sent me away. But he said, you know, we can just end this quietly. We don't have to do anything. I'm not going to be nasty to you about this. I mean, it just made me love him all the more.
So I was all set to annul the engagement, but then that night I had a dream, which was really weird. This angel appeared to me, and he said, "Joseph, son of David," which was weird for a start because my dad's name is Jacob. And he went on and he said, "Do not be afraid, for that which is conceived in Mary is of the Holy Spirit." And it was quite complicated, but it pretty much came to that Mary was going to have a really special child, that we were going to have to call him Jesus, and that he was going to save people from their sins. And I woke up quite surprised, but it was just so reassuring. You know, I just went straight round to Mary's house and I told her, we are getting hitched.
At the time, my cousin Elizabeth, my third cousin, she was pregnant as well, which was a bit strange because she's quite a bit older than I am.
My husband and I never had children. We just thought I was barren and we stopped hoping. But then, I don't know whether you'll believe this, but an angel said that we would have a child. And it did happen. I was pregnant.
The angel said that the child was going to be a prophet. That he'd tell people where they were going wrong and prepare their hearts ready for the coming Lord. I was just happy that our prayers had been answered after so long.
It was useful for me to get away from home for a bit, as you can imagine, so I went to stay with Elizabeth for a while.
Anyway, the moment that Mary walked through the door, the baby inside me just starts doing somersaults. And I don't know, it was like somebody was speaking through me. I started coming out with all these words like, "Blessed are you among women, and the mother of my Lord has come to visit me." There was something special about the baby that Mary was carrying.
When our son John was born, I received a prophecy of my own. You, child, will be called a prophet of God. For you will go before the Lord to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation to his people, in the forgiveness of their sins. Because of the tender mercy of our God, the sunrise shall visit us from on high and give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. John was going to be a prophet, but Mary's son, he was going to be something else entirely. Like the sunrise. He was going to bring a new day.